Hello and welcome to the Euro One, episode number 88 for the week of June 15th, 2020. I'm Ben Smith and I'm joined today by Mike McComb. Hey Mike.
Hello.
And our special guest, Chris King. Hey Chris.
Hey Ben. Hey Mike.
We are a group of Americans trying to make sense of the Eurovision Song Contest, and this week we'll be talking about a specific 12 minutes from the 2007 edition. Chris, welcome back to the program.
Thank you for inviting me back despite my lack of knowledge and general ignorance about most things, but I appreciate coming back here one more time.
It is our pleasure, and we had a topic where that specific level of non-Eurovision knowledge seemed particularly apt, so thank you for coming and joining in our madness once again.
It's countries and music, but it's not country music, which is all very fair. But I do as a geography, having a geography degree and a general appreciation of music, Eurovision is a nice fit. So I'm very glad to be.
So Chris, since we last had you on the program, you have now started a program of your own called Into the Questions.
Yes. So I am currently the host of a show called Called Into Questions. During this quarantine, I have been stuck in my home, and I was hosting trivias twice a week, every week here in Columbia, South Carolina. But because that's taking a break, I have decided to start doing a little series where I invite friends that I know to come on to a Zoom chat, and we write questions for each other and see what each other knows. And I was lucky enough about 6 weeks ago.
Time is meaningless, Chris. It doesn't matter when we were on
your
show.
That was only 6 weeks ago?
It was probably late April or mid. It was a while.
It was a while ago. It's fine. Time is a flat circle. It's meaningless.
But no, luckily enough, both you, Mike and Ben came on to my show, and we get to choose a specialty subject besides a general knowledge game. And for a unknown reason, Mike and Ben chose the category of Eurovision, and I got to ask them some questions about the subject of Eurovision, which they did very well, as I thought they would. So it was good flexing on y'all's part, getting some good questions right about Eurovision.
Yeah, it was really interesting to have like a different kind of game show experience. Not that I've been on any game shows, but just the way that like American game shows are structured. It's I don't know, kind of glitzy, flashy, what have you. And this kind of felt more in the style of like the British like panel shows and quiz shows. Where
because as someone who's been watching a lot of QI lately, it was much more in the conversational style of that.
Mm-hmm. Right. I thought that what I was shooting for is because like so much of when you go to a bar quiz, you have it's much more rapid. And since that, as Ben points out, time is meaningless. There's no reason not to just like have good thinking sessions about questions. And I enjoy, trying to put that on and having people really work out a question. Like you see, the same reason why you hear people that will work 2 hours solving a crossword puzzle. That some people that like a crossword is their Sunday. Mm-hmm. And so it's fun to have like a good stimulating activity where it is trivia, but it's not the rapid quick fire of just seeing, the muscle memory type. It's really having the problem solving, working together, good discussion, like really taking what a lot of people enjoy about going to a bar and playing trivia, hanging out with friends and, bouncing ideas off each other, but really seeing how far you can push that. And so our episodes are, to put it gently, long, and 2 hours is probably the shortest we run. But no, it's very fun. Like I said, I enjoy seeing people over Zoom and just seeing people's faces because I am living here solo right now, and so it's good to have some good sessions of trivia like that. And like I said, y'all answered some very difficult things. Y'all asked some very difficult things towards me, and it was extremely exciting. And I hopefully, if we ever, even if we go back to normal at some point, I do kind of hope to continue this series in some way in the future because it has been a very fun, playing this with folks. And thank you all for coming back on and doing that game.
It was a blast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. And it really allowed, was kind of the gateway for my husband and I to really start exploring different game shows that are on YouTube, particularly like the British quiz shows like we were talking about. We've been burning our way through Only Connect, which has been a lot of fun. And I think the first one that we checked out after we recorded our episode was Pointless. which I'd heard about before, where for folks who are listening who aren't familiar with the format of that show, it's kind of the reverse of Family Feud, where you're like, they ask 100 people a question and you're trying to find the least popular correct answer, sort of. I don't know if I'm really describing it the best way.
That's how, when I just tell people about Pointless, I call it Smart Family Feud, where instead of calling it a survey of a question like, name something you would find in an attic, it'll be a question like, name a country in Africa. And the idea is that you want to have the answer the fewest people of 100-person survey got right. So you can imagine Egypt would be a very high scoring answer, while a country like, we'll just say Rwanda, will be a much lower answer than Egypt, for example.
Yeah, and that one's, it's fine. Like, it's not my favorite of the ones that we've checked, just because it can be a little slow. I'm kind of surprised it's a 45-minute show, but it does have that element of like teams of two working together to just try to figure out in a very conversational way, like, all right, what would be the best answer here? And they also have a celebrity version, and they recently had around the time that Europe Shine a Light aired, they did a Pointless Celebrities Eurovision edition.
Yes, and I was able to watch it, and it involved people that weren't just from the United Kingdom. There were people that represented the United Kingdom and Ireland, as well as a couple of Swedish people, which I was like, I didn't realize that Swedish singers would be up for a British game show, but sure enough, they did. And also, Mike, you need to be watching Pointless in 1.25 speed on YouTube, or you're not living right, because that's the way to correctly enjoy Pointless. A fantastic show, other than the Rise, a 45-minute show that could be a little bit faster.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because we're watching it through YouTube on the Switch, and I don't know if there are speed options on there, but I will have to check that out. So,
if there is, yes, that's a strong pro tip, is to watch Pointless in 1.25.
Excellent.
There you go.
Ben, did you get a chance to watch the Eurovision Pointless?
I did, and it was the first time I'd watched an episode of Pointless, so like I had to sort of figure out what was going on as it was happening. But it's a British game show. I like that there is sort of the strategic element. It's not just trivia; it's trivia with sort of strategy of going, okay, we know multiple answers. Do we go for the big obvious one, even it's going to get less points, or do we try to pick something that might be completely off the board, but if it is, it's going to get us a lot of points?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and during the episode, there's 4 podiums of 4 pairs of people, and one of the pairs was 2 members of the Eurovision winning squad, Bucks Fizz, and unfortunately, they did not do so well in round 1 and were eliminated after round 1. And I was wondering, as admirers of all of the Eurovision winners, did this surprise you? Did this shock you? Of that the Bucks Fizz they fizzled out?
So my takeaway was, even though I think at least one of them had been on the show before, kind of gave off the air that they have never seen the show before. So, and I kind of felt that way with like most of the people playing, which is understandable. Like, if you're a celebrity, you may not have time to sit around to watch game shows. I don't know, but
I mean, on the other hand, like there's a specific tier of celebrity in Britain where like your job is just that you go from panel show to panel show, and I would like to know how to get onto that career track.
Yes.
Man, what a life that is. Mike, you're certainly not wrong about people that don't understand the rules. I would say probably every celebrity living in America knows the rules to Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. Not saying they'd be good at it, but everyone knows the game and how the game is played. Mm-hmm. But I as a frequent Pointless watcher and this Pointless Celebrities watcher, there's definitely people that their agent was like, you know what would be fun? Going on this game show. And they never took any time to learn the rules or like how the wordplay of the show works. Mm-hmm. And it's like, God, all right, well, at least you were going for charity and that's all good. And that's at the end of the day, the important thing. But it's like, yeah, I would have tried to look at what the rules were before I got there. Yeah. So that way you wouldn't be so embarrassed on TV. But that's me. But Bucks Fizz, they seem to have a good time.
They took it in stride, and
it would not be the UK talking about Eurovision without trotting out Bucks Fizz one more time.
Mm-hmm.
No,
or finishing in absolute last place. Sorry.
I do. It's a good episode, and
it was a good episode. And I thought that they did sort of a nice variety of people, because you had Dana and Suri, you had Mons, and I'm blanking on who they put Mons with.
Niam from Ireland.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. You had Mons and Niam, and you had Jade, who has done their best for the UK in recent memory, and John Lundvik, who, in addition to doing very well for Sweden, also wrote the UK entry last year. So that's probably why he was there, is that the UK like him.
Yeah, and Mons has hosted the UK You Decide show along with Mel from Great British Bake Off, baking show, Bake Off, whatever the British version of that title is.
Whatever the correct name is.
Yes, GBBO, there we go.
Bake Off.
We'll have a link to this particular episode in the show notes, and I think all of Pointless is on YouTube. I'm sure these aren't up there legitimately, so I don't know, maybe we should be keeping it under our hats, but yeah, there's a lot of content out there that is just there to nerd out and veg, so...
I mean, no joke. I don't think the BBC is terribly worried about making money off of their panel shows and game shows after they've aired on BBC. It's not like their, prime time dramas and things like that.
Right.
And so if you need some good quarantine binging, there are a number of comedy panel shows and British trivia game shows that are on YouTube for you to watch. And it is some good watching. I highly recommend taking the time, getting learned about some, having a laugh with some of these, with the panel shows, and learn something new with the quiz shows. Very good stuff on YouTube for free.
It's great, and if you click on enough of them, the algorithm will just keep serving more of them up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, correct. That is correct.
Elsewhere in Eurovision news, as of today, finally the news cycle is on schedule with our schedule, Mike. We now know the 2021 dates for Eurovision, and it's going to be May 18th. 20th and 22nd of 2021, theoretically.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, and they had a refund window a couple of weeks ago. If you had bought tickets for this year's show and you were just like, nope, I'm not even going to bother with next year, you could exchange your tickets for a refund. And only 4% of folks took advantage of that window, which... actually seems kind of high now that I think about it.
It does feel kind of high, but because at this point, if I have tickets to this now, I'm sitting in my house for the rest of the year basically. I want something to look forward to. I get that.
Yeah, and there's going to be another refund window. It's that date hasn't been announced yet, but I imagine they're also still going to have the same reseller program that they had this year in place once more details are figured out, because that's the other difficult thing. The Dutch government isn't allowing any major gatherings until there's a vaccine available or at some other alternative. So all of this is with an air of fingers crossed, I guess. But we have dates to work toward, look forward to, or at least develop a plan B or C or D or wherever we're going to be at that point. It just seems so far away and yet so soon,
So soon. It's been another great 2 weeks of revisiting the past, and in one case, the very recent past, with EurovisionAgain. A couple weekends ago, we went back to 2018.
Yeah, it was interesting to go back to one that was so recent. 2016 felt really recent. Yeah,
2016 felt like farther away. I was more excited to revisit 2016 than I was to 2018. It was fine. It was fine. I liked having a chance to go back and go, yes, the weird fake power outage during Valene does feel really bad in retrospect.
Yeah, that one. Well, I mean, it was really bad, in the moment, speaking from experience. I can link to the episode where we talked about that. And I think that was the other thing that was weird about it too, where it's this is one where we were a podcast then. What is going on? Yeah, so it's just it really didn't feel distant enough,
Mm-hmm. It was a nice one for seeing everybody's everybody on Twitter's memories of being there as things were playing, and people going, "Oh, this reminds me of X in Portugal, and this reminds me of Y." But compared to like watching 1991 and everybody just immediately get on the side of Mr. Naif.
Yes.
During the scoring, just immediately attaching ourselves to a man that we have never seen before, and then getting to see him again this weekend.
Yeah. They did the 1988 contest where, what's her name? Who won? Canadian?
Yeah.
Not Lara Fabian.
Not that one. Not one.
Yeah. It'll come to me. Chris, do you know?
Yeah.
It's Alanis
something. Nope, not her. Yeah. I don't know. Hope she did well after the show. Oh, but yeah, no. It was very weird because this is the last Eurovision before I was alive as a person.
I was thinking about that as it was airing. It's like, well, let's see. I would have been 5 at the time, like not yet in kindergarten when this would have happened.
Well, yeah, like this aired the day after my birthday this year.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
When it aired in like actual time, would have been very close to be existing as a person, but also not.
Yeah. Well, happy belated / early birthday. Well, no, in this weird quantum leap scenario we're in now.
There was a fun moment on Twitter where someone was like, "This is the 33rd Eurovision Song Contest," and as somebody who had just turned 32, I was like, "Am I secretly 33? Have I had this wrong for years?" It's like, no, it's fine. The first one is the first one. Yeah. Anyways, somebody also pointed out that this was as far from the start of Eurovision as we are from this one, and that was kind of a weird moment.
Ooh.
On Twitter, just like, oh man, time is a flat circle.
Wow.
I immensely enjoyed the stage design of this, and I highly agree with whoever on Twitter suggested that some national file should steal this stage design.
I don't know. It didn't really work for me. It looked very Tron. Like I liked the color scheme of it, but the faux 3-dimensional thing, it was just kind of messing with my brain.
I loved the op art aspect of it. Just that, and then just like the era where we couldn't do big LED screens yet, but we could stack like 24 screens on top of one another to make one.
Technology was good back in the day, that's for sure. With stacking TVs like that, that's funny.
It was very Walmart television section, 1990.
Yeah. When y'all were rewatching it, who were you hoping that was going to defeat Celine Dion? Like, who were you thinking like, oh, maybe they have a chance to win, knowing they weren't? But like, did you have any like gut wanting like maybe they'll somehow surprise us all and they'll actually be the winner this year?
Well, I mean, the voting for Eurovision again has been very interesting to see what years people are very clearly voting for the winner to win again. And like this one, I was just like, yeah, no, it's got to be Celine. It's got to be Celine Dion.
Right.
But I did not realize in the scoring for this one that it was so close.
Yeah, that was a very exciting scoring sequence. It came down to Yugoslavia as the last vote givers.
Yeah, so to catch you up on this, Chris. So Celine Dion won Eurovision by 1 point.
That's
fantastic. With 3 countries yet to give their scores, the UK was in enough of a lead where as long as they got 7 points, they were going to be the winner. And then the next country voted and gave them 0 points.
That's fantastic.
And then you get down to Yugoslavia, and Yugoslavia has to give all their points starting from their 1 point, their 2 point, their 3 point. They get to their 6 points, and they give it to Switzerland, and everybody goes, "Oh man, it's gonna it's over. Switzerland is not going to win. It's going to be the UK." Except the UK also does not get points from Yugoslavia.
No, and that's like a weird, odd joy you can have from watching old events is somehow you're still surprised of the winner, even though you knew it going into a thing, but you're watching like the scoring take place and is something going to happen here? And it ends up being, destiny fulfills itself by it being history.
Well, yeah, going into this, I'm watching with 3 countries yet left to go and going, well, I know that Switzerland wins, but how?
Right. And it's like you're somehow shocked that what you've always known is correct. And it's like, oh, well, there you go. And that's exciting. I come from behind win, despite the fact it was more than 20 years ago, more than 30 years ago. So Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, anyways, there's video on YouTube of just the song, and like I found one that has the intro where like they took her to a peat farm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a fun one to watch. And yeah, Eurovision Again is going on for 2 more weeks, and then they're also doing some behind the scenes stuff that they're going to be revealing on their Twitter. So yeah, it's been fun going through this like memory, well, not necessarily memory lane, since so many of these have been new Eurovision for me. But yeah, this has just been fascinating as like historical documents, to borrow a phrase from Galaxy Quest. So
anyways, so to get to the main topic of our program today, since that also came out of Eurovision Again, Chris, we wanted to bring you in because while we were watching the 2007 contest, and then later when we talked with Rob Hawley, who is the organizer of Eurovision Again, one thing that came out of our conversation was Mike and I had not realized that 2 of the acts that we knew were from 2007 were immediately one after the other. And then we realized that immediately after those 2 is another one that we have lovingly joked about on the program before. And again, all 3 of those happened one after the other thanks to random ordering as they did it in 2007. And we thought that was like a great little microcosm of this is what Eurovision is. This is sort of a great way to introduce to someone who is not familiar with the show. This is sort of the high, all of the highs and one of the lows.
It's truly fantastic looking at, because today's clip today's segment is 3 songs out of the the full it was 24. It's 24 in this case, but to have just like those 3 consecutive songs, I went into the 3 songs fairly blind. I was not aware of who won that years or any of the histories of the performers, and this was truly a roller coaster, as most things are, and it was great. If you had to show somebody a neat, tightly edited package, that 12 minutes takes care of a lot of it. That was man. What three songs were sung? That is definitely for sure, and I look forward to talking about them.
Like the one thing that I regret about that 12 minutes is that it does not give you any lordy or just it maybe it doesn't really show you just like how goth Finland had gone with that year's Eurovision. But other than that, like it's just like a very good little 12 minutes of concentrated Eurovision power.
But Finland was, in their postcards, was definitely representing the native country and showing all kinds of things that were fun, Christmas lights, the man himself, Santa Claus.
That was something that I wanted to touch on, because I wanted to look up when this contest was held. It was on May 12th, 2007. And then I also wanted to check what the average weather is on May 12th, and it's usually 42 to 55 degrees from what I could tell. So I'm not sure why there was such a Christmas theme to so much of the contest.
I mean, in fairness, Father Christmas was not preparing toys with elves. He was playing chess with a moomin, so it's his off hours.
Yes.
He's having a day.
Yeah, were either of you familiar with moomins before this clip?
I was, but that's just because I saw them somewhere on Twitter and was like, what are these?
Okay.
They're Moomins. They are beloved children's characters from Finland.
I think I've seen that picture, but I didn't really know what it was from. I think I've just seen European cartoons before, but now that I saw that thing and was like, maybe it was a mascot for the town, the same way Japanese cities have individual city mascots. Right. I didn't realize this was like their Smurfs or Tintin or something like that.
Right? Yeah, because when Rob was on the show talking about the 2007 contest, and he just mentioned it in passing, I thought it was an audio blip on my end, and was just like, is he saying humans? Like, what is that? And then trying to be like, wait, what is that animal? And then looking it up, it's like, what's a moomin? And then
I'm just like, yes, the moomins.
Yeah, and it's like, I still don't have an answer to my question. And I've gone to their official website and just I still don't know. But and why did it turn into a Bergman film? It was just that postcard, I think, is art. but it's
well, yeah,
art
like
I
I
do
feel
not
like
understand.
the thing that was so weird about the Finnish postcards is that I kept looking for a theme, and like there wasn't really one, or else the theme was life is chaos. We should start with Serbia's entry Molitva, because that's the first part of our 3 entry set.
So Chris, what were your thoughts on the performance, the song? Read us your notes.
Right. So when I was coming, I have now that I've done this is my 3rd time being on the show. I have seen a range of different performances through the years of Eurovision, and I'm never 100% sure what to expect with any given one. And I was extremely pleased. I was like, wow, this is very good. It was I think it was just a good heartfelt power ballad type song, using their time well, not very gimmicky. And it was a very, you could really tell there's a lot of thought and heart went into it, and hearts literally with the hand things they were doing. I thought they were also wearing, they were in the Heart Army, it looked like, 'cause they were wearing red sashes and a medal of valor in the shape of a heart, which was beautiful. They were all soldiers in the War of Love, and but no, I thought it was a really, really nice song, and I am not shocked that it did well in that years.
That was Serbia's first go at Eurovision as an independent nation.
In previous years was Serbia. I mean now obviously there were 2 countries and they split off. Were most of the performances like sung in Serbian, or were they in like?
Well, prior to 2007, they were Serbia and Montenegro.
Right. We have discussed Montenegro in the past. I have a soft spot for the Montenegrinese who perform at the Eurovision, because they seem to have lovely mountain shots every single time I've ever seen any of their clips, which y'all have shown me, and it's fantastic. And I mean, Serbia has probably, I don't want to say they probably monopolized at some point. If they were singing in a language, it probably was.
Serbia has almost exclusively performed in Serbian, with a few exceptions where there have been 3 years where they performed in English, but for the other than that, in their 12 appearances, it has just been Serbian all the way.
Yeah, when it was Serbia and Montenegro, 2004 it was in Serbian, 2005 it was in Montenegrin, 2006 they didn't participate. I have to wonder if they would have done what like Belgium does, where like they just kind of switch off every year. Sure. Again, that was only for 2 years, and then prior to that, like when they were part of Yugoslavia, there seemed to be some sort of rotation.
Do you think they're going? I mean, I guess every performer goes for the win when they perform at Eurovision. That seems like an obvious statement, but sometimes I've seen some more, I don't want to say gimmicky, but it feels like something less, finals of a music singing contest. And it's like, do you think that Serbia was really going for the win with a song written and performed like that?
I think Serbia is one of the countries that takes the contest very seriously, and that I don't recall any of their entries really being like joke entries or I don't know, like the category of entry that like Dust in the Turkey or just the ones where it's just being like, Eurovision, we have some opinions and we want you to hear them, that sort of thing.
I would agree with you that it feels like they take the contest seriously.
Yeah, and they have a very strong track record as well. So I think there's also some pride in that.
I don't think there's anything wrong trying to win a contest. That seems as if it was the name of the game. If while you're competing, why not try to win? People, a lot of effort went into it, and but no, like certainly you could really see, like, I actually kind of enjoy the fact that they perform with and like it seems like some countries may think they're in it every year. They're like, you know what, let's just try something and see what sticks, and who knows, maybe it'll hit. And but I don't think there's anything wrong with having a good, ballad type song on a yearly basis. That's a very nice thought.
Well, yeah, and I think I like that you've called out like how minimal the staging is, because I think of the 3 entries we watch, it's the one that sort of doesn't do a lot of sort of stage gimmickry of any sort.
Ben, that's obvious if you've seen the video that
yes,
that the Serbian one does not use a lot of stage presence, which is a lot of it is the song and the performance, and there's some not really acting, but some movement with the 5 other 5 other people on the stage, but certainly it is the most minimal of the 3 we saw, no doubt.
Yeah, like the focus is on the song.
And it was a good one.
All right. So the next one in the lineup comes from Ukraine, and it's Verka Serduchka's Dancing Lasha Tumbai. I'm just going to sit down now after standing for the Ukrainian national anthem. And now, Chris, have you encountered this song before that you're aware of?
I have not. This seemed like this song seemed new to me. I did a little bit of research where I learned, afterwards, that apparently it is a song that is in the ether. It is out there.
Yes. Like, have you seen the Melissa McCarthy movie Spy?
No, I've heard of it, but I have not seen it. And I was just kind of reading on about. I was like, I was in Spy. I was like, that's interesting. And then I look at the plot of the movie, and apparently this song is a part of the movie.
Yes, I saw that movie in the theater, and during the scene where Verka Serduchka pops up, I'm just like, is this happening? Is this a joke that's like explicitly for me that this person is here? And that they're performing this song?
Like I was shocked to find out that the song is featured in a chase scene. It's like, wow, this is an actual. That song is a plot point in a major Hollywood movie.
I'm just assuming that Paul Feig, who directed and I think did some of the writing on the movie, was just like a fan of this song. It's like, as long as we're doing like sort of a spy capery romp sort of a deal in Europe, why not see if Verka Serduchka is available?
And it does add a certain manicness to the scene.
It's up there with like a yakety sax in terms of sort of manic.
So Chris, what were your impressions of this performance?
All right, so the song. I think the previous song was just so strong. I was like, all right, you have to follow that song with a new one, and this was certainly more poppy than the one before, and you could really tell the way they were singing and the way they were performing. I want to say that 1, I'm a wizard, and 2, the reason why I'm a wizard is because in my notes of describing the group here, I wrote down that they looked like they worked at Iridescent Airlines, and the way that their uniforms looked was they were 10-man workers on an airline, with the way they had like the 2-part hat, whatever that's called, like I want to call it like a Krispy Kreme hat, but it's the standard stewardess type airline. And it was just like, it was very shiny. I'm sure a laser pointer shined at them would reflect all over the arena.
Right.
It was some loud costuming. I haven't seen. Besides actually wearing flood lamps, that was about as shiny and bright as you could get as costumes existed. It was actually wearing like tinfoil as clothes, which is respectable.
Yeah, that's usually how I see like cosplay of that executed, where it's just like head to toe in tinfoil. So
I just love that these two songs exist directly next to one another in actual Eurovision, just because Molitva is like very much sort of the respectable Eurovision of like, no, like the songs are very good. The songs sort of pull from folk music traditions, and then you also have things like Dancing Lasha Tumbai, where it's like, but also it's very fun and very gifable.
And I mean, there's really, if it is you said it was a random order as opposed to like an alphabetical order, but it was a random order. That's just how the list goes. They certainly don't have any preset, the set list isn't, set in any way. You can have things juxtaposing like that where it just jumps out at you how different two songs can be.
Exactly. And like in much of the last decade or so, the running order has been selected by the producers. They will now do a drawing for which half of a semifinal or which position half of the final you'll be in. But for like the first part of the 2000s, it was just sort of, and for a while it was just like a random draw of like, well, this is the order of the songs.
People know the songs, but now especially before the contest. So when is the order set? Y'all are experts at this. When was that random order set?
If I recall, the last time that they did the random drawing, it happened. There's the meeting of delegates in mid-March, which is when all of the songs are turned in for grading, and then like all of the sort of final, mid to final preparations are made, and the drawing happens then. And then after the semifinals, the drawing for the semifinals will happen then, and then after each of the semifinals, they would have a drawing at the press conference immediately following the semifinal to draw the positions in the final.
Sure,
right. I'm not sure what the exact timeline was in 2007. I can't imagine it being all that different, but
right, because I think at least in part the reason they do that drawing is just for figuring out the schedule of who is rehearsing when.
Right. And then also to give the stage crew a chance to figure out how they're going to move everything in 45 seconds.
Yeah, to figure out, okay, how are we going to get the gigantic hamster wheel off of the stage and get the two giant water tanks onto the stage in 12 seconds?
Yeah.
Right, and it's really all about the stagehands, making sure they can, execute all that. I was kind of wondering, because, having Serbia and then Ukraine back-to-back like this, I wonder who was the first person to think, that's going to be something. Just to mentally note that those two songs, would be back-to-back to each other. Just the shiny, a shiny Elton John-looking uniform that Verka was performing in, and right after... the Serbia's, ballad type song, which is, that's just how it shakes out. That is how Eurovision works. In my research, I did discover an award called the Barbara Dex Award, which I assume.
Yeah.
I don't know how loaded of a topic that is.
It'll be a topic of a future episode this season, but
sure, but I discovered that award exists, and B, that Ukraine won it in 2007. So there's that, and but they were shiny. That was the important thing, is how shiny Ukraine was. They shone brightly.
I don't know. Every time I watch the song, though, I do love just like how anarchic it gets, and just like how it keeps doing key changes. It keeps doing key changes. People keep running around the stage. It's just a lot in the best way.
So I guess a lot in the maybe not as best way.
Speaking of a lot.
Yeah. The last one in this set comes from United Kingdom and Scooch, and it's Flying the Flag in brackets for you.
Duty Dreamer.
So Chris, what are your thoughts on this one?
That America got out of Britain in 1776 was probably a good time to avoid, being represented by that. That was truly a song. I was excited that my set of three would round out with United Kingdom, and I was like, all right, that's really good. So it's gonna be an English language song, and I was looking forward to seeing what. I know that apparently the UK doesn't do as well at Eurovision as they have in the past, and I don't know all the politics behind people voting for other people and things like that. And I was like, what? I try to give people a fair shake at things. I thought I listened to it, and that was just too much. And I don't even know who it's for. Like, I don't know who wants this song. No one wants or needs this song. I thought at the beginning of the song it was going to be, I mean, the name of the song is Fly the Flag for You. And I thought, can y'all answer me the question, what flag? What is the flag and who does it represent?
What flag are they flying and for who?
Because if you watch the performance, the flag clearly seems to be the Union Jack, the UK flag. That's the only flag in question. They have some fake furniture in their set that looks at his flags on it. But the lyrics, and I thought I'd look at the lyrics to figure out if I've missed anything from just all the stuff coming at me. And there is it's just nonsense words. Like the entire song is just syllables and it means nothing. There's no anything behind it. And they just keep saying we're flying the flag and they never explain, they just talk about how they've traveled. And it is, as I said before in the previous song, I am a wizard, because I somehow predicted, I said iridescent airlines was where Ukraine was from. It turns out I was exactly right predicting the United Kingdom was in their, I guess, British Airways uniforms as they dressed the way they did. And it was actually, I don't know if either of y'all picked up on it. There seemed to be innuendo in the song.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And I'm going to, for example, for any of the listeners, I can just read out a stanza. Ladies and gentlemen, your exits are here, here, and here. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the fitting. To use the life vest, slip it over your head. Pull firmly on the red cord and blow into the mouthpiece. And they are saying these words looking right into a camera and with appropriate accoutrement to, round out what it looks like. And it's clearly, I don't think it's about flying flags. It seems to be about something different. And I was just wondering, Ben and Mike, is this something Eurovision viewers want or need? Is this coyness?
It's the issue that I have with this entry, and it's so in 2014, Poland sent this song called "Slavic Girls," and the staging for that features rather buxom milkmaids churning butter, and it's the same. Well,
no, it's not the same though, because that's
yeah, like it's just as full of innuendo, but. Poland
was trying to be sexy.
Yeah, like there, and I don't know what the actual difference is. Like, why did Poland work? Why did this not work? Well, okay, why did dancing Lasha Tumbai work? Why didn't this work?
Okay, so what Poland was doing, actively and actually sexy, like they were aiming for that and they hit it on the nail. What the Brits were doing in 2007 is they're doing kind of like a cheeky "Are You Being Served" sort of a humor. We've all watched like an old "Are You Being Served" on PBS, right? Or is that just a me thing?
I am aware of its work. So.
Okay, yes. It's just like we've all watched like a 70s like Britcom on a PBS late at night because it's what they have in their library, and some of the jokes are like, wow. Is this a family program? And like it wasn't, but also Eurovision is a family program. So like the UK is trying to play up some of that cheekiness, except that's not like a universal humor sort of a thing. That's like probably a UK thing. UK is going to love that. Maybe Ireland, because Ireland also has produced programs like that. Malta just likes the UK and just gives them points anyway. So for nations where they had probably seen like that sort of very sort of cheeky 70s sort of a haha, we're making a very obvious innuendo, they're gonna love it. But like the majority of Europe does not have this same shared sense of humor, so like that's why it falls flat.
I'll even say as a joke telling format, I don't even think it lands that way. I'm shocked that the ramping up of the just scatting syllables they had. So it starts out with the sentence "duty free, madam." That's the first really ad lib phrase. The second phrase is "some salted nuts, sir," which of course we're getting funnier here. The third one is the paragraph I read out a moment ago that ended "blow into the mouthpiece," and the last one before the end that we hear is would you like something to suck on for landing, sir? Which is, again, a sentence said during a song, which is...
These are the actual lyrics of the song.
Is that a thing in flying? Because I have never encountered that. I do not understand the question, and I refuse to respond. So
that's the exact right level to take there. And I guess but there's a difference between like the milkmaid fantasy and the stewardess fantasy, which is all a weird thing to
which is also a flavor of fantasy you can have. Now that I think about it.
It is. That is a thing that exists.
Like both of these things exist as like a sexy Halloween costume. There's like sexy milkmaid, sexy flight attendant, sexy Verka Serduchka, etc.
I think the real true point is there is nothing sexy about flying. I swear, I have.
Especially in 2007. Especially in 2007.
Oh God. Flying is the most soulless activity you can do. You have to it takes 4 more hours than the actual thing itself, which is flying. And it's hot, sweaty, cramped, long, dull, boring, and, headacheful. And it's just like, good Lord. And it's just like, I love him doubling down on like the idea that flying is sexy, because it's not. And, but no, and like having innuendo like that, no one asked for it, no one needed it, and Scooch got scooched all the way apparently to their fellow British Isles friend Ireland and the Maltese, and
Also, Eurofans on Twitter don't at me about this, but what kind of a band name is Scooch?
It was the mid 2000s.
It was the mid 2000s. Yeah. We were throwing whatever words we had available. Oh, goodness. The Guardian noted that the song was, in terms of Eurovision, outdated and similar to Bucks Fizz winning entry in 1981. Bucks Fizz till the heat death of the universe.
Have you ever heard of a book called Coffee, Tea, or Me?
Yes.
Is this okay.
I think it pops up on like Mad Men too. Because like this feels like they're aiming for like a Mad Men sort of a fun, sexy 60s vibe. But
right. This is like, whenever you see like the Pan Am style, that's always just that's the Mad Men era. Exactly right. But yeah, Coffee, Tea, and Me is this I think it's American memoir about, I think it's fictional, about stewardesses that have various, we'll call it hijinks going on behind the scenes. And clearly this is what this song was trying to, that same attitude of flying, which is just not how flying works. And but no, this was just this. It was, I believe in the United Kingdom. I like to root for the United Kingdom when I can't root for America. And I was like, you know what? Maybe they're not as bad as the stereotype is. And then they did that.
And then this happened, and yes.
Yeah, I guess, you know what? That's what it is. That's what they're known for. And that's why, I don't know, maybe if you could just do a power ballad each year, maybe you would be taken more seriously than having this, I don't know, vaudevillian 3-minute sketch song about flying. And but no, that was, and I like that. I read the reading the song on Wikipedia saying it was the reviews saying it was a crash landing. It was like, yep, that's right, that's pretty on the nose.
So that one probably won't be getting your 12 points.
No, it did not earn my 12 points. I guess I will say this was 2007, which means Lost was on. So I would so I'm a quick plug for Lost, because I'm always going to defend Lost whenever I can. So it's sad to see that not all airplane media of the mid 2000s isn't as good as Lost, because clearly flying the flag for you is not. They were not flying it for me, because it's still not even explain what the flag is.
Well. And that's another thing, like, because particularly during selection season, all of the blogs will be like, whenever a country like makes their selection, they'll be like, oh, so and so is flying the flag for Croatia, so and so is flying the flag for whatever country. And I don't know if that sentiment existed before this song, or if this song is now the SEO for those sort of posts.
Oh, that's a very good point. I had not thought about that. Just like how often we see that in Eurovision headlines. Is this?
Yeah. So like, I don't know if like this song is in response to that sentiment, and it's just like, oh, we'll just like use this phrase that's very common for Eurovision and then turn it into this very misguided sitcom pilot. And
I just like to think they were clearly fishing for votes because, I mean, London to Berlin, all the way from Paris to Tallinn, Helsinki onto Prague, don't matter where we are.
I feel like just listing a bunch of city names is a strategy that you can take. I don't think it has worked well.
Yeah, it did not work for Dustin the Turkey the following year.
Didn't work for Dustin the Turkey.
Because, I mean, think about how, I don't want to call it a country, how shallow a country would have to be like, oh, they mentioned us, we should vote for them. That doesn't seem like a viable strategy to earn votes. Like, to, you know, put the other country's name in your song. That seems like a good waste of your song, you know. And it turns out they did not earn any country votes. No country that is
mentioned in the lyrics of the song gave them points.
Nope, and that is unfortunate. So
that is hilarious. I didn't even think to check back on that. Yeah, because they don't mention Malta.
Oh man, I just really want to make a map and add it to the Wikipedia page now, highlighting the countries mentioned in the song, countries which gave the UK points.
The Venn diagram is two circles that do not overlap.
Do not overlap.
Oh, goodness. So it sounds like you did some pretty heavy research on these entries. So you know the rundown of how they finished out in 2007?
I did find out their final results. I don't have like the other members of 2007, but I did look up how the three songs that I viewed would end up finishing. And they spread the table is what they did.
Do you agree with that rundown? The rundown being Serbia, of course, winning, Ukraine finishing in second, and United Kingdom tying for was it 22nd or 23rd?
However, somewhere
downstairs. So
they tied for 22nd with France, and then Ireland placed 24th.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, there's I guess there's something called being last, but if the number of competitors is in the 20s and your final place is in the 20s, that's basically last place. You can call it what you want. Certainly, I would rank of the three rankings of first, second, and third of the three we saw. I would agree with the order we put them in. I am pleased that Ukraine did as well as they did. I guess it was. I mean, I haven't seen the other performers of the year, but certainly it was good. It wasn't that poppy sense of Eurovision that I have seen when I've been with y'all, and it's clearly they definitely enjoyed it. And I don't know how the final was. How close again was that final vote from first and second?
It was about a 30-point difference. So like. Close-ish, but I mean, compared to other first and second place divisions, like it has certainly been closer. So
sure. So well done to Ukraine for ending as strong as they did. I think that's in terms of the three. I'm not sure. I mean, there's no shock that Serbia did as well as they did. It's no shock United Kingdom did as poor as they did. I guess well done to Ukraine for ending as high as they did.
Chris, where can people find you?
The best place to find me is you can go to twitter.com/ckingsc, letter C, word king, initials SC, and you can find out all about the things I have to tweet about. It's very invigorating stuff. Geography is often a thing, so if you're a fan of Europe, you'll probably like my Twitter feed. My current Twitter banner is currently as a map of Europe, so there you go. Real true connection there. It's more of it highlights the rivers in Europe that have crossword names, but Europe's a great continent, as listeners of this podcast would know. So please find me at Twitter.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Euro What. Thanks for listening. The Euro What podcast is hosted by Ben Smith, that's me, and Mike McComb.
That's me.
You can find us on our website at eurowhat.com and on Twitter and Instagram at EuroWhat. You can subscribe to the Euro What on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcast app of your choice. When you subscribe, leave us a review and let us know how we're doing and how other Eurovision fans find us. Next time on the Euro What, it's part 2 of our 12 minutes experiment as we test out these 3 performances on someone completely new to Eurovision.